Are you ready to build a self-managing business? It may seem like a pipe dream, but I'm sharing with you the quickest way to get systems in place so that you can get out of the day-to-day. All right, so we're going to have some great fun today. I'm going to be sharing with you some behind the scenes, pulling back the curtain of actually what some of my systems and processes look like that I work with clients and give to contractors out there. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss a second of this. Systems are so important. If you know me, I love systems, and it's what will enable you to be able to get out of the day to day, be able to scale your business, become more profitable. There's so many reasons to get systems started. Right away, it is really important and urgent that you work on your systems so you're in the right place. I'm going with you how to choose the right systems to be working on, how to prioritize them so that you're getting the best benefit right out of the gate. Then I'm going to be talking about how to build strong systems, so systems that are robust, that you build first the right time and will last, into the future and not break down. And then finally, I'm going to be getting into implementation. I find implementation is sort of there's a few hurdles, but it's a big hurdle for a lot of contractors. Is you've probably tried systems out before, maybe you got some software, you built an SOP, or, built out some processes and things like that. But getting your team to use it properly so that it actually gives you the benefits and you're not having to go back to the drawing board and, it kind of gets left and forgot about. So implementation, driving to that right away. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about here is priority-driven system design. What I mean by that is you want to be thinking ahead of time of like which systems you want to get in place and prioritizing what matters most, and then chunking it down into actionable steps. So it's, how do you eat a horse one piece at a time? How do you eat an airplane one piece at a time? And it's really important that you have a systematized way of building systems so that you're not getting overwhelmed, so that you don't get discouraged, because then it's just going to go on the back burner and never gets done, which maybe has happened to you before. So first thing, you want to assess the most critical business functions. So what's the one function of your business that's going to be most critical that you're going to want to systematize right away? Usually this is either going to be the easiest one to get done so you can get some momentum, or it's going to be a big pain point where you're going to see the biggest benefit from it. So this could be things like estimating, project management, maybe your admin, client onboarding, financials, sales, marketing. So whatever's eating up a lot of your time or you feel could really make a big improvement in your business. Generally, I would say most of the time it's going to be either admin tasks because they're kind of easy to get off your plate and systematize, or estimating is another big one that a lot of contractors feel that they can't give up estimating because it's too important and critical to your business. But when you have a proper system in place, the reason you're unable to delegate or give up things or create systems for it is because you haven't done the work to really figure out what is the process and have it in a place where you feel comfortable that, yes, I can hand this off to someone because I know I've built out this amazing system. Everything is there. I've got the checks and balances in place to make sure it gets done the way that I want it, so it's as good or even better than what I would be doing it myself. So I'm jumping into right now contractor system appraisal form. This is a form that I've used with clients. I actually have like Excel sheet that I use now to really pinpoint everything. That's a lot more built out, but this is going to be a first great step. It's an appraisal form to help you figure out which part of your business to focus on. So I'm going to jump into that right now. So here we have the contractor system appraisal form. If you want to fill out this form and use it for yourself to pinpoint, where you want to improve systems in your business, drop a comment below. Comment appraisal form, something to that regard, and I will send you a link so that you can use this and utilize it to figure out which area of your business is most priority. Is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So does that make sense? Yes or yes? So all right. The appraisal form is simply a bunch of questions. I'm not going to be running through it for sake of time. You can go do this on your own, but essentially it's going to have your big functions of your business. So marketing, sales, I believe there's operations, human resources, finances, and essentially it's just going to have questions to ask yourself and then kind of give yourself a self rating. So things like, do we have written roles, job description, responsibilities for all of our employees? Are you not doing this currently? Are you doing this, but not really that great? Doing this regularly, but it involves yourself, that you have to be the one who's actually like running the system. Do you have it documented, or are you like world class where it's like, we've got a full system documented, we have a training program and it runs without me, my team handles it, and Bob's your uncle, life is good, right? So this is the appraisal form. Like I said, drop a comment below, just put an appraisal form. I'll send you a link to this so you can go use it, and this will help you really figure out which areas are you maybe a little bit deficient in and you could improve and where to focus your time. So now that you know where you want to focus on, the next thing is to list out the tasks and processes of that function. So estimating is a great one because it's very, A to Z as far as like there's a certain timeline that goes along with estimating. So list the tasks. What are the tasks involved and what are the processes? And then figure out what is repetitive, what is low skill. So something that pretty much anybody could do with the right instruction, or what do you really not enjoy doing? So you probably hate, doing little nitty gritty entering data or filling out a scope of work and stuff like that. And this is a great opportunity for you then to systematize that part of the business. And then quick pro tip here. One of my favorite lists that I use a lot is the delegate this list. So throughout your day, when you're doing your task, maybe, like I said, it could be estimating, could be sales, could be marketing, admin stuff, whatever it is, there's something you're doing and you're like, oh, I'm really tired of doing this, or I don't feel like doing this, or I wish I had someone to do this. Put it on your delegate this list. Sooner or later, you'll have a list. I've, constantly have a running list of a lot of things that I know I can just delegate to someone else or create a process or training for. And this is something that you can then turn over, even if you're not in a place where you can maybe hire an admin or hire someone to take care of that and you still have to execute it yourself. At least you're going to have a running list so that when you do go to the drawing board, it's like, I need to hire someone into my business to take care of this. Or maybe you come in contact with someone in your network who's like, they specialize in a certain thing. It's like, wow, all right, these are all the things that I want to delegate and get rid of. So really important, have a delegate this list. It'll help you really fine tune and figure out, all of a sudden you're going to have like 40 or 50 things on there. It's like, man, I really need to hire someone to get this stuff off my plate. So making sense? Yes, hopefully. Yes, I think you got it. You're intelligent. So let's move on. Number 2 is building strong systems. So we figure out what system we're going to get in place. We figured out, some of the parts of that system that needs to get in place. Next, we're going to pick the ones that are the most important and then build a standard operating procedure. So if you're like me, you don't like, tons of detail and reading through huge legal documents and all that stuff. So that's not what I'm talking about with SOPs. SOPs are simply a set of instructions, how to. If you've ever watched a really good how-to video where it's like, this is how you do it. That's what an SOP is. It's a simple how-to. Here's the steps. You don't have to get into the nitty-gritty of everything, like click here, go there, use this type of nail, use this hammer, whatever, right? Start really simple, 5 to 10 big steps. And it could be a checklist. It could be a document. It could just be a link to a video or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but generally you're going to have 5 to 10 big steps. Get that in place first. What are the big steps? And then from there, you can start to build out those steps and, start small and then expand as things, go along. Also, you've got to think when you're building this for like an employee or someone else to follow, if you built it out too big and there's too much stuff in there, it's going to be confusing and there's going to be stuff that's probably just glazed over. So it's better to start with the structure and the main functions, and then you can add details and more steps as you build out your processes and your procedures. So I'm be sharing with you an example of an SOP that I've created in just a second here. Something to think in when you're creating an SOP and creating a system is, if I had to do this 1,000 times, how would I want it to be done? So often you as the business owner, what you're doing, your experience, so you can just run through it. You don't need to follow any sort of instructions because you've been doing it forever and you know how to do it. But because you're using experiential knowledge and you're not following, a set standard of plans and things like that, there's going to be inconsistencies when you then tell someone else to do it. So that's why an SOP is so important, that you are having consistency with your process and doing that 1,000 times. It's like, if I needed to do this 1,000 times, would I really want to be, going to the Home Depot website to check prices, or would I really want to be calling all the trades, every day or all the time to reschedule them and things like that? So figure out, again, 1,000 times, it'll really bring that clarity of like, hey, maybe I should eliminate this step, or maybe I should add this step because in the long run, it'll be better. So making sense? Here we go. So next thing we talk about is automation. So maybe an SOP is not really what you need, because there's a lot of automation out there that can either be incorporated into part of the process of an SOP, or maybe you can just eliminate the whole, like, what you're doing, because there's a lot of automations out there that you're probably not aware of. I find ones, every day the software is becoming more and more tuned, especially with AI and things like that, that there's a lot of stuff, especially on the admin and informational type of side of things, that can probably be automated, that you may be able to build a system for that doesn't even involve, people, or limits the amount of time spent by people in your organization to do it. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Next thing I'm going to be talking about, well, let's jump into the SOP right now. I think you're ready for it. Let's go check out the SOP. All right, so I'm giving you goods here. This is an estimating framework. process SOP. So this is for the estimating process, usually a big system that a lot of contractors want to get off their plate, or at least get it where it's like 80-90% systematized, and then you yourself are still going to review and do the final, proposal to the client or whatever. That's the thing about systems too, is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Even just getting part of it systematized or small tasks of it, the more you can kind of get things off your plate and delegated, the easier things will do. But this is what an SOP is going to look like. The ones that I create anyways, there's lots of other ones out there. And like I said, most of them are overly complicated or too basic that they don't really explain the right thing. So, but essentially you're going to start with requirements and resources. So who is this for? This is going to be for a project manager. Typically, maybe you've got an in-house estimator, so that could be for that too. Any software it's associated with. So if you're using certain types of project management software or whatever you're doing your estimating in, you're going to list that here. Training resources. So I've included, my YouTube channel estimating playlist. I put out a lot of great content on YouTube, and I've got a playlist, a playlist of all my estimating videos. So if someone, something simple like that is, again, you don't have to recreate the wheel here. You can just send your estimator, your project manager to those videos. They can watch and you just really get a good understanding of the whole estimating process and how to do estimating. You may have other resources online, maybe other websites or whatever. A lot of that training kind of stuff you can find online, and you can link to it in your SOP. And then you're going to go through the process. So initial client meeting walkthrough, that's not part of this SOP. So I've included again a link to a video here if they want to look at how to get that done. I've got video for that on YouTube. And then so I've got also a walkthrough template. So again, giving them the resources and what they need, everything in one document. Estimating setup. So this is how you get set up for an estimate. You gather the information, the plans, what have you. Again, for time's sake, I'm not going to run through all this, but you're going to go through rough estimating items, how to get things done, takeoff. So, this one's for Bluebeam, but you may use PlanSwift or Square or whatever, some of the other takeoff softwares. Request for quotes and bids, how to do, requests for quotes and bids from subcontractors, how to send out client proposals and have meetings with them. Here I've got contract performance, so setting up new templates, so how to set up new estimating templates, change order process as well, I've included in here. So again, you're just going to go through all this, and then you always want to have like a support or feedback section so that if your employees are going to be some of the best people to be able to tell you feedback. If you're going through an estimate or SOP and you're getting a lot of the same questions or they're not figuring out something, go back to the SOP and fine tune it. And that's a great thing about a system is like once you have that process in place, you can just continually to make it better and better and better. And it's a virtuous cycle that'll just keep improving over time. The more people that go through it, the more times you use it, the better it'll get, and the more systematized your business will be. All right, so from there, you've got the SOP document. The next piece of the puzzle, so there's two steps here. Get the SOP process in place, like I showed. So you got sort of a structured way of doing things. And then the second piece is get a training video. So the best way is something, I'm using Zoom right now. Just jump on Zoom, do a screen share, show the SOP, walk through it. I'm just explaining, the SOP and the steps, and then actually do the work as well in whatever software program that you're doing. So if I'm using my project management software for estimating, I go through the SOP and then I jump over to my project management software and I actually do an estimate live while I'm training. You're getting, killing two birds with one stone there and getting an estimate done for a client, but also creating a training video at the same time of what you're doing while you're building, doing your estimating and what have you. I'm using estimating example. This can be used for, all the different functions of your business. You may start with marketing or sales or some other ones that I mentioned. And then you want to have everything in one spot. So I'm going to be jumping into a Google Sites here. Like I said, I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm showing you behind the scenes the actual documents and how I've kind of structured things for clients. I've also there's a lot of ideas and ways that, again, I'm going to be improving this because I've got this set standard of how I do things now. And we just keep improving every month, every quarter, and just continue to build out even better systems as we go along. But I'm jumping into what is a Google Site. So Google Sites it's a website building platform. It's free and it's really easy to use. And that's why I use it, because I can then hand it off to client and their admin or whoever can update it and change it and everything. It's really simple to use. So I'm going to be jumping into that right now to show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what a Google Sites page will look like. The actual editor is a little different, but it's pretty simple. Drag and drop, change things around. If you're at all familiar with technology, you can use this, or get your son or your daughter or your uncle or your cousin or whoever can do this for you to show you how to do it. But it's really not not too difficult. But essentially, you're going to, again, similar to the SOP, those big steps in the SOP, you're going to have different steps in your estimating portal. So this is what your employees are going to have access to. So when you hire a new employee, they need this kind of training. You just send them to the site. They go through it. It's like the SOP document. This is not live right now, so I don't have the actual links on here, but essentially these right here would be links. So they click on this, they go to that SOP document I showed you. They click on this, they go to the training video. The training video can just live in, your Google folders or wherever. And again, just have a link to the training video so they can pull it up. They can go check out your training video for takeoffs. You're going to have another video. And then, like I said, proposals, estimate templates, you're going to create training videos for all these different things. And then you're going to have the SOP document linked with that. So now they've got the document to go through the steps, and then they've also got a training video on how to do it. So can you see how much easier your life is going to be when your employees have gone through all this training? It's not that they're going to be experts by the time they're done the training, but they're going to have a big base of knowledge and know exactly how you want them to run through things, how you want to structure things, so that when you go to train them, yes, they're going to have questions and it's going to maybe take a little while for them to get really, you become an expert at it, but you're not having to explain everything to all the new employees that you hire. You're not having to go through this training. Once you've built it, you can kind of set it and forget it. You'll still be updating it every now and then, but it's just like, it's a piece of the business. It's like, boom, delegated, systematized, done, move on to the next one, right? And as you move that ball down the field, you get closer and closer to the touchdown of having a self-managing business, which is amazing. Trust me, it is a great feeling to know that your people and your systems and everything is just working amazing in the background, and you can just make money and concentrate on the big picture stuff or the things that you really enjoy. All right, so that's number 2, building robust systems. That one is a bit of a bigger one because that's the actual building the system, the process, and everything that I mentioned there. We're moving on to number 3. So 3, like I said, is that big hurdle where a lot of guys get tripped up and they get slowed down, and where the big frustration really comes in because they try to implement something, it doesn't work with the guys, they've built out these amazing systems, and then all of a sudden it's like it's just not working, or it gets forgot about, or it's like this is too hard, it gets put on the back burner and forgot about. So embracing implementation, the good, the bad, the ugly, you just got to get through it and continue to be consistent with it. So if you've done the homework properly, and every time you do this process, it's going to get easier and easier. So the first time you build an SOP, it's going to be new to you, and there's going to be all this stuff. And, we've done this work before. We've got all of this templates and everything built out before. So if you really want help with this and, wanted to do it a lot quicker and a lot easier, drop a comment below and check out the links, and we can jump on a call or whatever. But anyways, embracing implementation. The first thing you want to do is easy access. So easy access is that Google Sites thing that I showed you. You could use an Excel spreadsheet too, where you could just have, the numbers and links and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a website. I like the website because people can access it from anywhere, but essentially that one portal that has all the training links for your employees, have easy access where they can get to that easily. It could be a folder, like a Google Drive folder, what have you. Everything in one place, organized so they can get the training. Always be explaining why. So often this is a common problem when you've built out a system, you've done all this work. It's like, here's the greatest thing in the world, right? You're so excited. You give it to your guys and you think you explain it well to them, and they're like, yeah, we'll use it and everything. And then a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, a month goes by, and people aren't really using it, or this problem or that problem. So explain why. We want to bring this in because it's going to make us more efficient. It's going to cause less headaches. Our clients are going to get a better experience. This is going to make your life easier. So explain why it's important to your employees as well. It's like, this way we won't forget about hours that we're logged on site. This will help us be more profitable. So we're able to, take you guys out for pizza and beers and give you bonuses and stuff like that more often. So frame it why it's important to the company, and then also why it's important to the employee. And then you want to review the SOP and the video and have a constant feedback loop. So every time you have a new employee go through the training, it's a great opportunity to see, where did they miss stuff? Where was there something that I had to re-explain to them, even though it was in there? And that's like, maybe I didn't explain it properly in the SOP or the training video or whatever. So it's an opportunity to go back and maybe add a few notes or tweak things a little bit, and then get the feedback from the employee, because you want, first of all, for them to be able to give you ideas and make sure that the experience is what they expect and is worthwhile for them. So make sure you're getting their feedback of like, does this make sense? Did you like how the video was? Could you hear me okay? Does, this or that? And they'll give you some great feedback that you yourself, because you're experienced and know it, will not really understand, because you need that, that fresh kind of rookie mind, if you will, to be able to go through the training to see how to best structure your systems. So, making sense? I think so. Yes. All right. So, final point, always be improving and then listen to your frontline workers. Like I said, the guys on the front line, they are the ones that are actually doing the job, getting it done. So, ask them for feedback and what's working. As always, check out my other videos. I've got lots of other videos here, and I will see you on the next one.